50, of course, he's going to have his comments. He said, now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done, meaning he's finished. They don't come like that unless they got a case. Exactly. That's facts. He continued it, trolling Diddy, talking about the private jet where they tracked it. He said, oh, this is a movie. I told y'all. But no, y'all didn't listen.
Execute these types of search warrants until they believe they have an ironclad case.
Multiple safes broken into, drawers ripped open, closets ransacked, boxes of gun ammo and Grammy Awards. New images from TMZ show inside Diddy's ransacked Beverly Hills mansion during the coast-to-coast raids.
Man, somebody done called me. I done seen, so I'm staying off my social devices. It's too much cooning and buffooning. Too much cooning and buffooning. And believe me, when I get my thoughts together, I'm gonna figure out a way to articulate myself. Cause this conversation ain't even for the whole world to hear. It's just for us. Believe me, they saying you cooning and buffooning. Oh, believe me. And they loving every minute of it.
Holy crap, guys. The day has finally come where Diddy might have to pay for all the shit he has done over his career. And guess who's there to gloat over it all? My boy 50 Cent. Recently, the feds raided both of Diddy's mansions and confiscated boxes full of evidence. I'm talking laptops, videotapes, recordings, the whole 9 yards. And best believe 50 Cent was the first one to tweet about it. Sources believe that Homeland Security might have enough evidence to put Diddy and all of his accomplices behind bars. And that for a long time. There were even rumors that Diddy initially tried fleeing the country when he first heard the news that he was being raided. Either way, this whole situation is causing one hell of a storm for the hip-hop industry, and I am here for it. Before we get into 50's iconic reaction, let's recap what happened over the last few weeks. There's been a major turn in the Diddy lawsuits, and this time around, the authorities are taking the allegations way more seriously. Out of the 5 lawsuits, Diddy managed to settle the one with Cassie, and the complaints from the 3 Jane Does didn't really lead to any specific outcomes. But when Lil Rod came through with a whopping 73-page lawsuit, complete with digital and video evidence, it was pretty much game over for Diddy. Just last week, reports started swirling that investigators from the Department of Homeland Security were executing search warrants at Diddy's properties in the Holmby Hills neighborhood. Armed federal officers rolled up to the 54-year-old's swanky mansion, which sprawls across 17,000 square feet in Los Angeles' West Side. During the search, 2 people were detained, while law enforcement surrounded the place with vehicles and police tape.
The guys on the ground down there, the heavily armed officers that made their way inside, they actually are kind of just milling about or holding the perimeter.
The same drama unfolded at Combs Star Island compound, where Miami Beach police were spotted coming in and out of the property. Looks like they hauled away a ton of evidence, with officials seen leaving with paper bags and boxes. And word on the street is laptops and phones were also seized. Sources spilled the beans that firearms were discovered in both of the raided residences. In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security revealed that the raids were part of an ongoing investigation in New York. The searches were carried out with help from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and local law enforcement. Earlier today, Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. We will provide further information as it becomes available. Unlike previous instances, this ain't just a bump in the road for Diddy. This time around, there's a very real possibility of him getting indicted. Legal experts are saying the feds don't just raid someone's house unless they're pretty darn sure they've got a strong case against them. And now that Diddy's clearly feeling the heat, experts reckon he'll do whatever it takes to prolong the legal process.
He has essentially unlimited funds to defend this case, and I expect him to litigate it very aggressively. Ultimately, I think Diddy is going to be indicted by a grand jury. If Diddy waives his right to a speedy trial, he could potentially push the case out a year or more.
No arrests were made during the raids, but Diddy's 2 sons reportedly got caught up while the feds were turning the place upside down. Witnesses say the sons were supposedly trying to clean up their father's mess before the feds caught on. Now, you might recall that Diddy's son, Justin Combs, got dragged into Lil Rod's lawsuit. that set off this whole mess? Well, folks are saying the feds had a boatload of evidence stacked against Diddy thanks to these simultaneous raids. And let me tell you, Diddy was apparently in hot water long before the actual raid went down. You see, when the authorities think they've got a strong case, only then can a judge sign off on warrants for raids. So yeah, the raids were pretty much the final nail in the coffin. Now, word on the web is that since the Diddy crew got blindsided by the authorities' raid, they managed to nab one of Diddy's top guys red-handed. Remember how most of the victims claimed they were given spiked drinks to do some shady stuff? Well, Lil Rod took it to another level by dropping the name of a substance supplier, Paul, who allegedly used to hook Diddy up with powdered goods. And get this, the same day the feds raided 2 of Diddy's homes, Brendan Paul got nabbed at Miami Opa-locka Executive Airport. Turns out, he's a close associate of Combs. According to the affidavit, Paul got hit with 2 felony charges after the feds searched Diddy's plane at the Miami airport, one for suspected coke and another for suspected marijuana candy, both big-time felonies in Florida. In a recent civil lawsuit filed by Lil Rod, Paul, who used to ball for the Syracuse University team, was accused of being Diddy's go-to guy for substances and firearms. Now, Diddy's trying to plead his case to the court of public opinion, saying the raids were just a flex of power and nothing more. In a statement, his lawyer Aaron Dyer said, "Yesterday, there was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences. There is no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by authorities or the way his children and employees were treated. This unprecedented ambush, paired with an advanced coordinated media presence, leads to a premature rush to judgment of Mr. Combs and is nothing more than a witch hunt based on meritless accusations made in civil lawsuits. There has been no finding of criminal or civil liability with any of these allegations. Mr. Combs is innocent and will continue to fight every single day to clear his name. Despite Diddy's strong denial of the charges, TMZ spilled the beans that before Paul's arrest, he was chilling with P. Diddy on a plane headed somewhere. But guess what? The plane got intercepted and Diddy's whole crew got escorted off. And that's not all. The Gossip Mag also reported that Diddy was seen having a heated exchange with officials, apparently because they snagged his personal electronics. After losing his right-hand man, Diddy was clearly shaken up, seen pacing around restless at the Miami airport.
Diddy was spotted by TMZ pacing outside of Miami Opa-locka Executive Airport on Monday afternoon, March 26. According to their sources, Puffy was outside a customs office and was waiting to be joined by other people who were apparently also being questioned by federal officials.
After that whole plane incident, Diddy disappeared from the scene for a bit, only to resurface in Miami, supposedly to enjoy a vacation with his twin daughters. He took them to Topgolf in Miami, the very same town where the feds had raided one of his homes. But hold up, the raids were just the beginning. Now the feds are throwing subpoenas left and right, targeting companies doing business with Diddy, aiming to sniff out anyone with info relevant to the whole mess. Sources in the know spilled that subpoenas were sent out by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York to various providers linked to the rapper, including his private jet charter, phone companies, and computer firms. And get this, they're especially keen on getting their hands on manifests from private jet companies to track who Diddy flew with, both within the country and abroad. It's clear they're not just hunting for alleged victims, but also any potential witnesses who could either back up or shoot down the claims of misconduct. According to recent reports, federal officials in Manhattan have already interviewed 3 women and 1 man in connection to the investigation. Fans are speculating that the authorities are coming at Diddy from every angle to make sure he can't slip through any loopholes. Now, the latest buzz is that Diddy has bounced from the U.S. during all this investigation drama. Fans are guessing he's gone underground to shield himself from the legal fallout of the accusations. Worldstar reported Diddy, Combs' private jet, has departed from the United States amid an investigation involving raids on his residences by the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. The aircraft's trajectory indicates it is bound for Cape Verde, a country that lacks an extradition treaty with the U.S. At the moment, it is unknown if Diddy is actually on the plane or not. For anyone who's been keeping up with the hip-hop scene, it's no secret that Diddy and 50 have had beef for years. And now that Diddy's facing some serious heat, 50's wasting no time enjoying the show. Lately, he's been all over Twitter, throwing shade at Diddy left and right. On the day of the raid, 50 hit up social media, dropping hints that the title of the Diddy documentary he's been cooking up might need a little tweak, like maybe Diddy Done. He hinted that this raid could spell the end of Diddy's empire. Now, it's not Diddy Do It, It's Diddy done. They don't come like that unless they got a case. Back in December, when Diddy got hit with that SA lawsuit from his ex and 50, true to form, went all out dragging Diddy through the mud. In the midst of his verbal onslaught, 50 dug up an old interview with another bad boy artist, Mark Curry, who spilled the beans that Diddy had a habit of spiking drinks to make things real slippery. Before the other lawsuits came into play, a rep for Jackson's production company, G-Unit Film and Television, confirmed to Billboard that the documentary would focus on the allegations against Combs, with proceeds going to SA victims. To back up his talk, Fifth hit up Instagram, claiming this time he's gonna do right, hinting at this very documentary. But when the lawsuit started piling up, Fifth went silent on the documentary, leaving folks to forget about it. However, Fifth's latest tweet has brought the documentary back into the spotlight. He fired off another post claiming, "This is gonna break records when this drop. GLG, Green Light Gang, you know the vibes." Now 50 wasn't finished exposing Diddy, not by a long shot. Believe it or not, he's been indirectly tied to Lil Rod's lawsuit, but not in the way you might think. Alongside Young Miami, 50's ex-girlfriend, Daphne Joy, got name-dropped for supposedly doing some extra work to please Diddy's needs, if you catch my drift. Jones claimed in the filing that Joy and Miami were among the women, getting a monthly payout to do some extra work for Mr. Combs. After this little bombshell dropped, 50 decided to go in on Joy, trolling her left and right. "I didn't know you was an ex-worker. You little ex-worker, lol. Yo, this ish is a movie." We all know 50's got a mischievous side, but he ain't one to drag someone's name through the mud just for kicks, unless there's some truth to it. To cover her tracks, Joy fired back at the allegation in an Instagram post, threatening to take possible legal action against Jones. "I am deeply hurt by the lies in Rodney Jones's lawsuit. The claim that I am an ex-worker is 100% false and character assassination. I am retaining an attorney to explore all legal remedies against both Rodney and his attorney." In the aftermath of all this, Joy didn't hold back and decided to throw some serious accusations at 50. She claimed that 50 had physically and intimately harmed her, and even went as far as saying he wasn't involved enough in their son's life. Then, she shocked fans by alleging that 50 had shattered her last hope of him being a good father by making false claims against her. But here's the kicker. These allegations came from Rodney Jones, and fans speculate that Joy might be projecting her own actions onto 50 Gay. Let's face it, since 50 first stepped into the rap game, there's never been any such accusations against him. But 50 didn't take Joy's supposed gaslighting lying down. He wasted no time, firing off a tweet about seeing her in family court. And just to set the record straight, 50 released a statement to USA Today, revealing that these disturbing allegations about his character forced him to fight for full custody of their son. He made it clear that Joy's statements proved she wasn't fit to raise their child. Sources close to Joy suggest she might be resorting to extreme measures to tarnish 50's image, especially since her own reputation took a hit due to the Lil Rod case. If you think about it, with each passing allegation being disproven, Joy could be facing some serious consequences real soon. The rapper also pointed out that Joy moved closer to him, hoping to rekindle their relationship. But when 50 couldn't give her the attention she wanted, she decided to work for Diddy because he was paying good money. He said, "You moved a mile away in hopes of having another baby with me, but I was busy. So you moved back and then you started receiving money from Brother Love. Now here we are, little ex-worker." Given their back and forth, some might think the rapper could be feeling a little jealous. But in his latest post, Fifth dropped a hint that he knows his self-worth. He made it clear there was no way he'd let an alleged ex-worker anywhere near him, even though they share a child together. It's no secret that Diddy's intimate orientation has been a hot topic of public interest for years. While he's had a few heterosexual relationships over the years, Lil Rod's recent claims about Diddy buying his way out of such relationships have reignited curiosity about his orientation. For years, 50 has been dropping hints that Diddy might be part of the DL, down low, but there's been no concrete proof. Remember when 50 threw shade at P. Diddy during a previous concert in Europe? The Indie Club singer explained why he no longer attended Diddy's famous all-white parties, alleging that the vibe at these parties made him extremely uncomfortable.
Why don't you going to them coffee parties? They can hug you from the front and the back at the same time. What you talking about? I mean, look, if you into that, I'm fine with it. To each his own. I'm just saying, my motherfucking counterpart.
Let's not forget that 50 once called Diddy fruity for his suspicious antics. During an interview with the Breakfast Club, 50 hinted that Diddy himself might not even realize that his true nature has been seeping into his everyday life. He said, "I don't call him gay. Listen, I'm only saying that because of the what's his name interview. When he says things, he doesn't even know what he's saying is like. Fruity, he says to Fabulous, me and you, we need to party. What is you talking about? When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. Not to mention, 50 also targeted Diddy during a Pride Month. He alleged that he wasn't able to help people as he had been recovering from pettiness. In addition to that, Fifth boldly declared, "Sorry, I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy." For those wondering why Diddy being gay is such a big deal, it's because he's been denying the accusations despite people pointing out his tendencies for years. 50 hinted that Diddy even tried his luck with him. During another session with the Breakfast Club, 50 explained that when he was at Chris Lighty's wedding, Diddy suggested taking him on a shopping spree. Fifth said it was so uncomfortable that he was worried he'd mess up his dear friend's wedding. However, days later, Diddy insisted he had no hard feelings towards his rival and told the station in his own interview, "Yeah, I thought he needed some clothes. What? I'm a nice guy. I have no beef with 50. He loves me. Y'all can't see that he loves me? You really think that's hate? When you really break it down, you've been out here a long time. You know he loves me." In 2014, he hinted that Diddy, Rick Ross, and music exec Steve Stout were in some kind of love triangle. He also suggested that Diddy and Empire co-creator Lee Daniels were romantically involved. He claimed he ran into Lee Daniels but had to keep his distance. He boldly stated he knew all about the freaky stuff Puffy had been up to. Just like 50 was, Cap wasn't a fan of P. Diddy. During the Comedy Legends appearance on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast, he suggested he had to turn down $50 million 4 times throughout his career because allegedly, the deals came with conditions of doing P. Diddy some inhumane favors, just to protect my integrity in that virgin hole I was telling you about, right? Because P. Diddy be wanting to party, and you gotta tell him no. You gotta tell him no. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you, that's why I can say them so freely. Other than Cat and 50, other celebs have also spoken out after Diddy's house was raided. One of them is Tanika Ray, a TV host and one-time backup singer for Sean Combs, who has come forward claiming that she had a horrific experience with the rapper that caused her to avoid him. Ray wrote in a social media post, "I just knew to avoid him at all costs. Yes, I danced for him and kept my space. I interviewed him for his projects and kept my space. Nothing that is happening is surprising." While some hinted at their own experiences with Diddy, other big names claimed that Diddy's retribution had arrived. Although Suge Knight is currently incarcerated, he has been a significant figure in the hip-hop industry for years. We all remember how the East and West Coast rivalry took the life of our beloved Tupac Shakur. Suge has always suggested that Diddy knew who was behind Tupac's death. After news of Diddy's house raids broke, Suge Knight took it upon himself to declare that Tupac would finally get the justice he deserved. Many fans speculate that Diddy might have been involved in planning Tupac's death. Suge also claimed that Paul was the weakest link in Diddy's entourage. Another rapper, Uncle Luke, chimed in, saying, "Don't bite the hand that feeds you." This was part of his suggestion that the ongoing federal investigation was a result of Diddy suing the multi-billion-dollar liquor company Diageo. Amid the fallout, the Joe Budden podcast discussed the raids during a recent episode, sharing their mixed reactions to the news. Budden said, "This is a wrap. Not only is this a wrap, but this is about to get much worse. This is about to get bad, 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 bad. Even the silence is eerie." He then mentioned how he had attended some of Diddy's parties recently, though he was confident he wasn't partaking in any illegal activity at the events. But for others, he claimed that they might not be so sure. Recalling his experience, Budden said, "I had some good times on those premises and got the EFF out of there and went on about my business. There's no footage of me out there. There's no pictures. So wow, what a relief if you've been to some of these functions and just know that to be true. But if you're on the other side of that and you see all of them people raiding all 3 homes, yeah, I would be pretty nervous. My heart would drop to the effing floor if that were the case." Budden continued, speculating that various rappers have found themselves in compromising situations at Diddy's events and been lured by the mogul. Apart from that, we all know that Maze was the real reason behind the feud between 50 Cent and Diddy. The rumor has it that Diddy used to underpay Maze, and when 50 offered to buy Maze from the record label, Diddy did not respond. And when 50 confronted him, Diddy claimed it never happened. Well, Mace later stood up for himself and allegedly left the label. Now that Diddy is between a rock and a hard place, Mace explained that Diddy might be one step closer to paying for his sins. While many of Diddy's celebrity peers have continued to troll him following the raids, others have come to his defense. Tyrese even took to Instagram yesterday to praise him for throwing the most legendary parties. I don't condone nor do I support bullying, or anything that is currently being alleged, but what I can't do is turn the blinds on how much this means to me and all of us, and what he has done for the community of music and culture. Tyrese claimed that he was praying for Diddy, who has been facing adversities with no one to fall back on. Rapper Slim Thug is also among those voicing support for Diddy, crediting the Bad Boy Records founder as an inspiration. He said, "It's tough to see so many people want to see him crash out like this. I don't want to see a black man who came so far, almost to $1 billion, fall down. That's our inspiration. It ain't too many of us. They took Kanye down. We losing another billionaire over allegations at this point. Still ain't no criminal charges. So what do you think? Will Diddy be held accountable for his crimes, or will he find a way to get out of it unscathed? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real."